Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for another segment of Reelchats. So, ladies, I have a question. I'm sure you all have heard about the new British TV movie where our king of pop, Michael Jackson, will be portrayed by a British white actor named Joseph Fiennes. I mean, honestly, what do we feel about that? You know, can we get any roles, even the ones that are historically ours?
Right.
You know?
I like that you took a big breath before you said it.
I'm a little stressed out.
Yeah, it's not a good sign.
Yes.
No, it honestly, I when I heard about it, I thought it was a joke.
Okay.
It seems like a joke. Apparently, that it is an intended joke, and I'm just like, I'm not in England. It's a British TV movie.
Yeah.
I won't be watching it. It's unfortunate. But you know, it's something that they're doing that's silly, and maybe their audience will appreciate that, or maybe they won't. But
Okay.
you know, I'm checked out of it.
We know what Michael said about it. Michael, because this was an issue when he was still alive, and he said that he is very proud of his blackness, and there would be no reason for a non-black person to play him. Michael Jackson had vitiligo, which caused some skin issues for him, and so he became his skin tone became much lighter over the years. There are some unanswered questions about body dysmorphia and whether some of that was done on his own. But either way, there is no issue. There is no reason why a white actor should be playing Michael Jackson. And in fact, this is another one of those issues that is encompassed in Oscar So White. Why couldn't a very light-skinned black man play Michael Jackson? The same way we could ask the question, why couldn't a trans woman have played the role that Eddie Redmayne did and was nominated for in The Danish Girl? Sir Ian McKellen spoke about this. Why is it that there are cis straight white men who are winning Oscars for playing gay men, and yet he has had to put his acceptance speech back in his pocket more than once as an openly gay man playing both gay and straight characters? I think Oscar So White is about broadening perspectives and deciding who should play particular roles because they are the most qualified. But at some point it becomes a little bit of a slippery slope when you think that because Michael Jackson was light skinned, therefore a white actor should play him. I think that's going a bit too far.
Absolutely.
I also think that whoever is a part of the marketing team for that particular film, they need to be fired. Obviously, to announce that Joseph Fiennes is going to be playing Michael Jackson during this time when we're discussing Oscar So White, you're clearly very tone deaf.
Yeah.
Given his global community of fans, people who love him and adore him, I don't think it's going to benefit them. I think they kind of did it to kind of get some attention. They're not taking into account any real, responsibility towards who he was as a man. It really is. It's a farce. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that they probably thought they could get a lot more attention by saying, hey, we're having a white guy play Michael Jackson. But I think it's going to backfire on them. And it's clearly tone deaf given the climate right now.
Absolutely. So, ladies, let's take a second to discuss, I'm going to be candid, just the whitewashing of roles that should go to people of color in the industry. Like, for example, we have Gods of Egypt and The Martian, and I could go on and on. Why do you think that is? Are we not getting in the room? Is it a lack of opportunity? Would you care to extrapolate on that?
It's a lot of reasons. Mostly, we talked about it earlier, people who are in charge who are greenlighting films. I think one of the biggest things about this business is that it is a business. So when they are making hundreds of $1 million investments into films, they want to see a return on their investments. The way that they see returns are, by hiring and casting big name stars who have proven to be successful and have given them, quadruple returns on their investments. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I personally saw the preview for Gods of Egypt. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh, I'm not going to see that." I didn't see a person of color in the preview. And
I saw one,
yeah,
and I got really excited.
Oh my gosh! But that was
that's like the Where's Waldo
right,
the
trailer. Where's
and I think there's something to say about because it's even so how that conditions our minds to think that we're not even acknowledged historically.
Thank you.
We don't even exist. You know what I mean? And I'm
Egypt,
sure that's not there.
Egypt people.
That's not
You
there.
have to put some of the blame on the consumer, though. Like, what are we paying for to see? What are we paying for internationally to see? That's the thing. A lot of these movies their biggest return is international. So they want to make sure they're getting their return on their investment. So put somebody on screen who, first of all, has an international appeal. Even if it's not accurate, people are still going to go see them.
I will argue that we as Americans, we are able to kind of set the tone of what people ingest. So we have the ability to do whatever we want. They could
Those
easily put
opportunities.
people of color in there.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, it's they're $1 million budgets. You want to make sure you're going to get your money back. You want to make sure you get your money back.
Yeah, but
plus
at the
some.
same time, I mean, let's look at Star Wars, right? $1 billion worldwide in sales with a female lead and a black male lead, both of whom are relatively unknown. These are not established, well-named characters. So when we're talking about, I absolutely agree that this is a business, but the problem is that you can't say that you can no longer say, if you ever did, that a black person cannot open a movie, worldwide, because a name like Denzel can do so, but also a name like John Boyega can too, and I'm sure we're all familiar with the backlash that happened originally when we found out there was going to be a black stormtrooper, as if there were no black people in space, despite the fact that we already had Lando Calrissian, right, in the earlier, but that was a big deal. But if quality work is being made, which is the point of Oscars So White, then people will flock to the film regardless of who is in the lead. Star Wars has proven that. So even if this is a business, it should mean that we can be more open-minded with respect to the next time people are being cast.
Well, even the original Star Wars, Harrison Ford was the biggest star, and the movie that he did before that was American Graffiti, which, if you ask moviegoers today, they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, historically, whitewashing has been like normal practice. If you look even as far back as the silent era, black people weren't playing black people.
They were in blackface.
They were in blackface. It was against the law in certain states for interracial couples to kiss. So that meant like Sesshu Hayakawa or Anna May Wong couldn't kiss their white on-screen lover. So that's been the practice. What's happening now is that we've actually been able to speak out against it, and Gods of Egypt is getting backlash for it. When the movie about Moses happened,
the Ridley Scott film,
he went out and said that he wanted to cast only known stars. He wasn't going to cast some Muhammad so-and-so to be accurate. Right. And we all kind of took a collective breath and we're like, nope, that's not how that works, At all. So now we have that ability to speak back.
I agree. We have to just get out of that mindset that's been forced upon us for decades, that people of color cannot carry a film or cannot be successful at the box office, because it's clearly been proven that that's not true anymore.
Yes. I think Star Wars was a good point of what you said, but also we have to think about Star Wars' legacy. It has a huge fan base already attached to it.
So it's heavily anticipated.
And it's very highly anticipated, especially like I feel like if they put anybody on screen, it would have done well regardless.
Because of the franchise.
Yeah.
However, there was backlash initially when people did find out.
There is backlash, but like it's like there was backlash about Michael B playing Storm, or not Johnny Storm. But people still go see it because there's legacy attached to it. Mm-hmm. But and I agree with you. You said America has the ability to make people famous or make stars. At the same time, you have to understand. I guess I'm trying to play devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. Studio wise, am I going to take a 100+ million gamble on that fact that I can make this person a star? Right.
But they're taking those gambles with white people because look at Colin Trevorrow and the Jurassic World franchise. Mm-hmm. Those opportunities are being given to them and people of color aren't being considered at all.
I think, like I said,
which is now changing.
Yeah, Hollywood has. We all know they have their system is very dated, so we know that they're slowly changing. But it's like a lot of things in this country. It's going to take time. Yes. It's a very slow process. It's going to take time. We just need to keep putting these people in films and if we keep seeing these returns, then I think it's going to get a lot better.
My one argument with that would be, if on our side, not to get complacent and say, okay, yeah, we've made it.
Right.
Okay, because we saw it with the women's directors movement, because there was a huge surge in about the 80s and 90s where there was a lot of women that had spoken out over the 60s and 70s. Hey, why can't we get the same opportunities as men? They formed a steering committee within the DGA. All this historic highs had been hit. It was something they made it to almost the teens in terms of percentage in the director's chairs of top 100 movies. Now we're single digits.
Yeah.